If you think there's nothing to do in Newcastle and Lawrence County, then think again. Always stay connected to NCTV45 to receive the information on events going on in and around the area on a daily basis. Programs to view are NewsWatch, The Morning Show, and Community Happenings. NCTV45 takes pride in bringing you the event and organization info that you want. NCTV45 is the #1 media source locally. NCTV45, anytime on your time.
Today's program was furnished by a grant from the Beanery Depot and Deli, featuring coffee, made-to-order subs, and snacks. The Beanery Depot and Deli in Mahoningtown.
NCTV45, The Train, anytime on your time.
Good evening and welcome to NCTV45's NewsWatch Nightly. Now let's get to the stories that are making news today in Newcastle, PA. Hello and welcome to NCTV45 NewsWatch. This is an evening edition, and we've just arrived back from Challenges where Senator Bob Casey spoke to the crowd. We're going to go there in a moment. After we check that out, we'll head over to sports, hit some weather, and we will give you the rest of NewsWatch as it comes out. So let's take a look. Let's go to Challenges and Senator Bob Casey and listen to his words.
Let's hear it for Amy. Amy, thanks very much. Now, I am late for this presentation, so I got to ask Amy permission. How much time do I have?
For 4:30.
You're not going there. According to all of their schedules, you have until 4:30.
So I have until 4:30 on Friday, right? Okay, we'll keep it that long. No, but thanks very much, and I am sorry for running late. And I'm really grateful to be here with you, and also to be here with some of the leaders of this community and the county overall. Commissioner, thank you for being here. Mr. Mayor, we're grateful for being here. And the mayor gave me a visa to visit for a couple of hours, and I got to go back. Police chief, thank you for doing this, being with us, and for your service. I was just saying to the chief, they all have hard jobs, but he might have the hardest of all. I'm grateful. And of course, your district attorney, Josh, thank you for being here as well. I wanted to cover a couple of issues and try to do it in short order, because I know you've got a busy agenda. But let me start with maybe the most important thing I'll say, and that's a word of commendation and gratitude. I want to thank you for what you've done for this community, what you've also done for our Commonwealth and our country. I could go to every table here, and if I had a chance to ask a couple of questions, I could probably elicit information that would tell me a lot about not just your life and the life of your family, or the life of your spouse, but also the contribution you've made to our country. First and foremost, how many veterans do we have here in the audience today? Thank you for your service. How many here had a veteran as a spouse? Yeah, that's a big number. How many had a member of your family or extended family as served? Everybody here. That is a great testament, I think, to Lawrence County and to our Commonwealth. No state, maybe one other, I can't remember which one, might have been Texas and New York, but no state contributed more, for example, to World War II in terms of soldiers, people who were on the ground fighting in that conflict. And I think if you go through every conflict, every war, Pennsylvania contributed more than any other. And we're grateful for that service. So Amy, I want to thank you again for your work here and challenges, and I want to thank Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Pittsburgh. I know that Bishop Zubik had a back injury, and I guess had some back surgery. I want to thank him for his great ministry, but also thank him for the great work he does on a range of issues that relate to seniors and children and our families. And I want to thank him as well for allowing us to appear today. And I wanted a chance to see him in person, but I wish him well in his recovery. I wanted to talk about a couple of basic issues. One issue I know it's been in the news a lot up until, I guess, July 28th, because it started to fade after that, and that's the issue of healthcare, right? We had a lot of debates about, and I refer to the legislation as the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, because that's what it was, it still is. We had a big debate about that. We had arguments in the U.S. Senate, votes and arguments and bills in the U.S. House. The Senate bill didn't pass at 1:30 in the morning on July 28th. I was fighting against that bill for a lot of reasons. I didn't think we should repeal the bill. I didn't think we should decimate Medicaid. If anything in the debate, we got a greater understanding of and appreciation for how important Medicaid is for seniors, for long-term care, for children and adults with disabilities, and for folks who are low income, especially children of low income families. For example, 40% of the children in the United States of America get their health care through Medicaid. 45% of all the births in the country are paid for by Medicaid. So I was fighting, frankly, angry at what some were trying to do to that program. Thankfully, it didn't pass. For some that's bad news. They wanted it to pass. I did not, right? So that's what our system is. We fight, and then we see what happens in a vote. But I have a little bit of good news to report. And if you can get good news out of Washington, you should take it, right? Here's the good news. Since that bill, by the way, I think the debate was very important to the country, but since that bill did not pass, when John McCain said no, and that was the decisive vote, since that bill did not pass in that early morning hour, every moment since then, in terms of engagement by United States senators who happen to be Democrat and United States senators who happen to be Republican and Independent, every moment since then has been positive. I know you're about to fall out of your chair and say that must not be true, right? But I'll tell you that it has been. It's been very positive. Here's why. We had a long debate for months, right? One side didn't get their bill passed, and instead of running into a corner and saying, well, we're going to come back with something much worse, and on one side, the Democrats running to the other corner saying, okay, we're done with that. We know this issue will come back. We know that a bill might come back. But for the next couple of weeks and even months, there's a big group of Democrats and Republicans who said, we still have issues in our healthcare system. We still have some people paying premiums that are too high. We still have places where there's not enough competition. There's still places where we need to do some work, and we're going to work together to fix some of those problems. Small bills, not big, giant bills that we can't agree on every piece of, right? One of the biggest things that became evident right after the vote was that we know that in order, that's a bad idea. Are we going to stop them from doing that? So we've got to guard against those kinds of efforts in Washington. And unfortunately, I think they're still there, as ideas at least. Now, one issue that I know we all have a concern about, I don't care what age you are, if you're an American who needs any kind of help with a medication, a prescription drug, you're probably worried about cost, right? We've got too many people across the country who need their prescription drugs every day, and are having trouble making ends meet to pay for it. They're having to choose between paying for prescription drugs or having enough to eat or putting food on the table, or making other choices or decisions they shouldn't have to make. Now, we made a little bit of progress a couple of years ago. We got to keep it going in healthcare legislation. Under current law, as it stands today, because of changes made in 2010, little by little that so-called donut hole has been filled, right? So we've had about almost $27 billion has gone to seniors across the country to help you pay for prescription drugs when you get into that coverage gap known as the donut hole. It's actually too nice a way to describe a bad situation, right? We have a lot of seniors that have been helped by that. As I said, millions of them, right? But we're still working on that. It's only 2017. The goal was to fill the donut hole, that gap in coverage, completely by 2020. So we still got 3 more years. That's why that bill not passing on July 28th ended up being a good thing for a lot of reasons. Because if that bill passed, that donut hole help would have gone away. So we got to keep that going so that you can get help with prescription drugs. But I know that's not enough. A lot of people say, well, that doesn't apply to me or that doesn't help me. I need to get a prescription drug that might cost the same as it does in Canada. They say, why don't we have a law that's passed that allows importation from Canada? It's a big fight, it's a big debate, right? Well, I have a bill, Senator Sanders and I and a few others have a bill that says we have worked out a way to have prescription drugs imported from Canada that will be lower cost and will follow a set of rules as they're coming in to this country. They have to originate, if they originate in Canada, and this is a bill that only applies to Canada, if they originate in Canada and are manufactured at a Canadian plant or company, that place has to be FDA inspected. And then we have a whole series of provisions that track that prescription drug all the way through the process, from Canada, across the border, into the United States, and then getting to you for a lower cost. Now, some people are mad at us for doing this. They don't like this. They think that they think we're hurting our drug companies. Well, I've been waiting too long, and I'm getting impatient. It's one of the reasons why I supported this kind of an effort. I've been waiting for years for those same companies to lower the price. All they seem to be good at is jacking up the price, right? So we have a chance to pass an importation bill for the first time. This is the best bill to do it. I think it can get support from Democrats and Republicans. We'll see if I'm right about that. And if someone else has a better idea about how to lower the price of prescription drugs, they better show up and put their bill on the table and figure out how to do that. But unless they come up with a better idea, we're going to work to pass this importation bill. And it's a good idea because we need it done. We know that so many Americans struggle every day with this basic problem, that they need prescription drugs, and because of the wonder of our great research and investment and innovation, we have those medications. We can cure disease. We can extend life. We can provide relief. We can do things that are good for people. But we cannot do that if that great drug, that great medication, is too expensive. So we got some work to do on that. Give you 2 or 3 more and then I'll stop. We got a big fight ahead of us on the federal budget. I want to give you a little bit of information about what has been proposed by the new administration. Now, they're telling us that they want to increase the defense budget by more than $50 billion in 1 year. Often when you hear a big number in Washington, that's a number over 10 years, right? 50 billion sounds like a 10-year number. This is a 1 year, 50 plus, it's actually higher than 50 billion. increase in defense. Now, if the president or his budget director comes and says to us, here's why we want to increase it by $50 billion, and they say this is what we need for national security, this is what we need for this part of our national security, I'm willing to listen to that. But they haven't done that. But here's what happens. When you propose that much of an increase in defense and some other increases in just maybe 2 other departments, what happens? They're proposing cuts to almost everything else. So they want to cut the Department of Education by a lot. They want to cut the Department of Agriculture by a lot. They want to cut the Justice Department and the Department of Health and Human Services by a lot. What does that mean? Well, here's what it means. The cuts are bad enough, some of the worst cuts we've ever seen, but they want to do more than that. They want to eliminate certain programs. How many of you heard of the LIHEAP program, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program? So if you qualify for that because of your income, and you can get help heating your home, they want to eliminate that program. Absolutely get rid of it. By one estimate, there's 7 million people in the country who benefit from that, and guess what? Who has the highest percentage? Seniors, right? We want to make sure that we stop them from eliminating LIHEAP along with a number of other programs. I won't go through all of them, but here's another program that the budget director talked about cutting, and then he took a couple of steps backwards after he got a lot of heat. Meals on Wheels. We have in Pennsylvania 32,000 people that benefit from Meals on Wheels. And on some days, the only person that individual might see is the person who drops off their meal. I was in a car in the Lehigh Valley, at the other end of the state, near Allentown last week, helping them deliver meals. I didn't do much. I just walked up to a door and dropped off a bag of meals, right? But I wanted to see it up close, to see what it's like when you're in a home all alone and you have the benefit of this great program and all these wonderful volunteers that help out on Meals on Wheels. But they want to cut back on that program as well. We got to stop them from doing that. So that's just a couple of examples. Unfortunately, and I know that the mayor and the commissioner would be concerned about this, they want to eliminate the community development block grants that go to counties like Lawrence County, go to cities and municipalities across the state. Our state needs that. Last year, Pennsylvania got $168 million. They're basically saying to Pennsylvania, you don't need $168 million for your communities. The good thing about block grants is they say, Lawrence County or Lackawanna County, where I live, can get some money to invest in projects that they make a decision about investing in, right? So if Lackawanna County wants to invest in economic development or blight removal or helping on law enforcement, we decide that, not some guy in Washington. But the guys in Washington now want to eliminate all that money. We're going to try to stop them from doing that. 2 more things and I'm done. Mine workers. We had a promise made to mine workers in Pennsylvania and across the country that if you kept your promise to work in the mines all those years, provide for your family, and in some cases do hard work, serve your country in World War II or Korea or Vietnam or beyond, and then come back and keep working in the coal mine, you're going to have your health care and your pension taken care of. That's the promise our government made in the 1940s to these miners and their families. Guess what government was about to break that recently? The federal government, right? We had to fight and punch and yell and scream to get just one part of it done, the health care done. They told us, the leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, said, and he's got a lot of coal miners in Kentucky, by the way, he said, if you get it through the Finance Committee, you get a bill done that's supported by Democrats and Republicans, we'll give you a vote on the floor of the Senate, we'll pass it, right? Well, we did all that. We got a bipartisan bill, we passed it through the Finance Committee, we did everything he told us, and then at the end of 2016, he wasn't willing to move it forward. So we had to push, and miners had to come from West Virginia, in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, and a lot of other states, and stand in the gallery or sit in the gallery of the U.S. Senate and lobby individual offices. They shouldn't have to do that. Minors were coming, their widows, in many cases they were widows, their children were writing us letters. Finally, in April, at a deadline, we got the guarantee for 2,000, almost 2,000 minors in Pennsylvania their health care. So that's one issue off the table, thank God. We still have to work on the pensions. But that should not have been that much of a fight. When we make a promise, and they've kept their promise, our government needs to make sure we fulfill the promise. So that's some good news, and we're grateful that that happened. The last thing I'll talk about is what's at your table, and that's this booklet here, Fighting Fraud. It says, Fighting Fraud, Senate Aging Committee identifies top 10 scams targeting our nation's seniors. And on the back, there's an 800 number, 1-855-303-9470. Above it, you can't see it from where you are, but you can see it at your table. If you receive a suspicious call, hang up, and please call the U.S. Senate Special Committee on Aging Fraud Hotline, 855-303-9470. I point all that out because there are scam artists out there all the time trying to deceive you, trying to deceive me too, by the way. My wife got a call a couple weeks ago from one of those IRS scams. When a guy calls and he says, I'm from the IRS, and you've got to do something immediately, and you're going to be in trouble if you don't, they're very threatening. They haven't sent you a letter ahead of time. That's one of the best signs. It's a load of you-know-what when they're telling you that. And the IRS is not in the business of threatening you, okay? So just be aware, and if you have any suspicion at all, hang up the phone and call that number. And there are other numbers you can call as well, obviously, the State Attorney General and some others. But in terms of the IRS kind of a scam, but I know there are other scams. You got a guy calling you, says, I can fix your roof for 38 cents. Those kinds of scams when they try to talk you into hiring them to do work and then they rip you off. This book is designed as a way to identify the top 10 scams, give you information about it, and give you a way to report it. Because look, this isn't just about catching bad guys doing things. It's about making sure they don't take from you and take from my family as well. Because here's the deal, it's pretty simple, right? You did your part for this country. You either fought in a war, or you worked in a factory, or you taught our kids, or you built a company, and you created jobs and hired a lot of people, and you helped build a community here in Newcastle, or Lawrence County, or northwestern Pennsylvania, or anywhere. You did that. And we've got to make sure that we fulfill our pledge, our obligation to you. It's as simple as that. And that applies to Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. It applies to protecting folks against scams and frauds. And it also applies to making sure that your tax dollar is spent wisely on behalf of those who need it and on your behalf in a manner that's consistent with our national security and a strong economy. So I'm grateful for your help, grateful for what you've done for the country. And as much as I know this is a tough time for the country, I know it's hard, I know people are conflicted about what happens in Washington, angry about a lot of things sometimes. Here's what I believe. As hard as it is right now, and as frustrated as some people are, this is still a great country right now. And you know why? Because of your sacrifices and your work. Ben Franklin, a long time ago, when the Constitutional Convention was over, was heard to say that he wasn't sure that we'd ever get a constitution. They were fighting then too. They were arguing. They were conflicted in a lot of ways. And he was worried about what would happen. And he looked at the chair of the presiding officer, and there was a carving of the sun on that chair, but it was only half of the sun. And Franklin worried in those times when they were arguing and rancorous and partisan and hot as hell because he didn't have air conditioning, and they're going at each other's throats. He said, I wasn't sure whether that sun that was depicted on the carving was a rising or a setting sun. Setting sun meaning we wouldn't get a constitution, we wouldn't have the country that we have today. But here's what Franklin said. He said, after it was all over, he said, now at length I have the happiness to know that it is a rising and not a setting sun. Here's what I believe. This will always be the country of rising suns. It will always be the country that leads the world. It will always be the country that will meet our obligations. I know it doesn't always feel that way. I know it's been very difficult lately. But we have to have confidence that because of what you have done, the country that you have built, that we're going to solve these problems. Thanks for helping us do that. God bless you. Thank you.
It's great to be at the Senior Center because it's a place where we can connect directly with seniors, to have questions answered, and also to be able to talk about some of the challenges that we have in Washington to protect Medicare and Medicaid, protect Social Security, and make sure that we do our job in the federal government to help our seniors to make sure they can access the services that allow them to lead full lives. This center is a place of great dynamism and a place of great intensity in terms of people's willingness to come in and gather and to share a meal and to talk about their lives. And we're grateful to be here at Challenges in Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Thanks for visiting.
Thank you. Good to be here.
This program furnished by a grant from May Landscaping and Lawn Service. Affordable prices, no job too big or small, general and skilled labor. May Landscaping. Program was provided through funding from Cedars Restaurant in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. A special thanks to Cedars, featuring Middle Eastern, Italian, and American cuisine. Good morning, Newcastle, and welcome to the Cedars Sports Corner. And let's get to it. Well, those Buccos, yep, they're taking a little Milwaukee vacation. They'll be taking on the Brew Crew again today. Now, as we look at the Tribe, they're still up in Minnesota. So everybody kind of went north in mid-August for a little vacation time. Elsewhere around Major League Baseball, you've got the Anaheim Angels taking on, yes, the Washington Nationals. San Francisco's at Miami. Now, St. Louis, they're at Boston. And over on the left coast, you've got Arizona at Houston, Atlanta at Colorado, and the Chicago White Sox, why they're taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, that was the Cedars Sports Corner. We're your home for high school football. Keep always viewing NCTV45. We're going to take a time out. We'll be right back. Funding for this program furnished by Big Paulie's Sports Bar, Long Avenue, Newcastle. This program made possible by a grant from Melva's Deja Vu, where everything old is new again. Hello and welcome once again. Yes, Sharon Regional, always in the news here at NCTV45. They announce Healthcare Education Wellness Calendar of Events Month, and what a great thing for August. Okay, when diet and exercise aren't enough, there's a free weight loss informational seminars, and they're scheduled at 3 convenient locations, featuring Chantel Nujuana's fellowship-trained bariatric surgeon. Now, you could select between these 3 locations. Tuesday, August 8th, 5:30 to 7, Sharon Regional's Hubbard Diagnostic and Imaging Center, and that's located at 880 West Liberty in Hubbard, Ohio. Now, Wednesday, August 9th, 11:30 to 1 and 6 to 7:30 at Sharon Regional's Medical Group Surgical Specialist Office, 2425 Suite 101 Garden Way in Hermitage. And September 10th, okay, located at the TMH Center for Radiology at the end of Elm Road, Medical Park, Building B, 2588 Elm Road Northeast in Cortland. So that's a great opportunity. And here's a little extra boost. Tuesday, the 8th, from 6 to 7, they're going to do it located in the general surgery office located at 2425 Suite 101 Garden Way in Hermitage. So if you missed one of those, you can catch another one right as it comes. We'll be right back after these messages.
May's Donuts is a Newcastle tradition. Customers continue to get excited about the high quality and superior taste of all their scrumptious sweet treats, and they come back time after time. Go ahead and treat yourself and your family and friends. You too will keep coming back to May's Donuts for more. May's Donuts is now located at 2406 Wilmington Road in Shannock Township. Open 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 724-944-5968. That's 944-5968. You've got to try the Pellet Artisan Cuisine Restaurant. Sam and David invite you to experience their food concept known as Farm to Fork. They'll provide you with artisan crafted cuisine made from the freshest local ingredients at affordable prices. The Pellet Restaurant is a bring your own bottle establishment. Open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 11 to 10, Friday and Saturday, located in the Westgate Plaza, Union Township. Give them a call, 724-293-0123. That's 293-0123. NCTV45, The Train, anytime on your time.
Today's programming was provided from funding from the Crane Room Grill and Banquet Center, 3009 Wilmington Road. A special thanks to the Crane Room for their participation. Today's programming furnished by a grant from Chalala and Carney Florist on Mill Street in Newcastle. It's the 64th Annual Lawrence County Fair, August 14th through the 19th, and what a great lineup they have for you. Yes, on Sunday, the fair gets underway with the Fair Queen pageant, and that's in the community building at 7 p.m. Also going on Tuesday, Kids Day, sponsored by Snyder Dairy. That's at noon. And on Tuesday, then we go to free CPR training at 3 o'clock in the community building, along with very many other things. Wednesday, it's swine showmanship at 9, and I couldn't help it, that seems so funny. 6:15, the Wilmington High School marching band will be on.
Sponsorship for this program provided by the Ed and Dawn DeCarbo Funeral Home and Crematory Incorporated, with 2 locations, 941 South Mill Street, Newcastle, and 3000 Wilmington Road, Neshannock Township. Daimio and Olson Law Group, where every client matters. Serving Newcastle, Elwood City, and Youngstown. Daimio and Olson handles criminal law, bankruptcy, civil matters, workers' compensation, personal injury, medical malpractice, divorce, wills, real estate, and many more legal issues. Call any one of their offices in Newcastle, Elwood City, or Youngstown with these phone numbers. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Daimio and Olson Law Group, where every client matters. Not one, not two, not three, but Four Brothers Urban Bistro. It's where you want to go for your next dining experience. Here are just a few of the many choices on the menu. Char-grilled filet mignon, char-grilled salmon filet, chicken over rice, Icelandic cod, chicken marsala, and ask about the saku tuna, veal, and the surf and turf. Follow them on Twitter and Facebook for daily specials. Hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 to 10, Friday, 11 to 11, and Saturday, 4 to 11. Four Brothers, located 331 East Washington Street, downtown Newcastle. Call 724-656-4980.
Hello and welcome to Four Brothers 45 Weather. And, I got to tell you, we've been having some pretty spectacular days. And the hits just keep on coming after last night's partly cloudy low of 62. How's your Wednesday looking? Well, middle of the week, middle of the month, and you're looking mostly sunny and 84. Just a postcard about summertime. Wednesday night, now partly cloudy, a low of 64. I'm not even, when the chance of showers is 10-20%, you ain't getting anything. So shouldn't be a bad night with a partly cloudy low of 64. Now Thursday, now we step up to a little bit of rain. Mostly cloudy, high of 85. Hazy, hot, and humid define the day, and the humidity will be up there because there's a 60% chance of showers. Now, Thursday night, cloudy, low around 70. That chance of rain continues and stays at 60%. Friday, mostly cloudy and 83. The rain drops down to 40%. And then Friday night, mostly cloudy, low around 62. Saturday, as you head out to those high school scrimmages, mostly sunny, high of 80. Saturday night, partly cloudy, low of 60. And Sunday, mostly sunny and 82. Sunday night, partly cloudy, a low of 62. And then Monday, mostly sunny and 85. Now, just some great weather, all in all, it's been a pretty decent summer. Stop out to Four Brothers, get some great food, and enjoy. This was Four Brothers 45 Weather. We'll be right back.
And they can put your design on many items. They have decals for vehicles and signs for all your advertising needs. Great selection of sizes and styles of regular or glitter t-shirts. R&A can iron on a logo while you wait and can do any school logo. R&A Screen Printing, 1217 Moravia Street, Newcastle. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. Call 724-652-2241.
Today's programming is brought to you by NCTV45 and NC Radio 450, Newcastle's community television station.
NCTV45, The Train, anytime on your time.
A special thanks to the YMCA for caring about the Lawrence County community and providing funding for this program. Programming made possible through a generous grant from Chuck Tanner's Restaurant, Wilmington Road in Newcastle. Every Saturday from now until, you have it late October, it is the farmer's market. Give fresh produce, tomatoes, lettuce, onions, cantaloupes, hot peppers, just about anything you can imagine at the farmer's market. And hey, it's a great place to stop and see. Now, we're going to take this break, and we'll be right back in a flash.
There's more than meets the eye. Gotta give them a Newcastle a try. The right small town for living. Look around.
That's going to do it for this Wednesday evening. Yes, the glorious month of August, and here's hoping you have a pleasant evening. Make sure that while you're having that pie and coffee, sitting around talking with friends, that you tell them about NCTV45. They'll be glad you did. And make sure of this, that you have a super evening in what I call the greatest castle in the world, in the county of Lawrence. Enjoy our programming. Our fantasy football show is up tonight, so it's an inaugural stage, so check it out in the Cedar Sports Corner. Have a great evening, everybody. See you again tomorrow.
Got my ticket for the midnight plane, and it's not easy.